Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for the metals price prediction based on Elliott Wave analysis. We're gonna see the intraday for the gold, silver, and palladium. And starting with the 1 hour chart here, where we have, of course, for the gold, the top here. We started from a top where we might have a wave 3. Potentially can be as well here, where you have 3 ways down, 3 ways up. Probably you're looking for at least, of course, a 3 ways down again in triangle. Or you are looking here at a potential, of course, 3 ways down, 3 ways up, and wave C in 5 waves down. So basically 2 scenarios are still potential here for the gold, unless that this triangle is becoming like squeezed somehow, like this, meaning like an A, B, C, D, and an E here, which it might, of course, unfold a drop down for wave E. But the problem here that we have here is, of course, this impulse. So if this is gonna be considered as A, B, and a C, well, it's hard to call it A, B, C, because of course it looks like a perfect impulse there, finished, and potentially needs, of course, another extension for wave C there, which it might be, of course, A, B, and a C, D, and a E, and then pushing for higher. Unless, of course, this is, of course, a regular flat, and we are looking really to an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, still to hit, of course, the 1-to-1 fib level. On the lower time frame here, we still see, of course, that this wave C can be done and finished here. However, this price is somehow, very, very tricky and very annoying here in this phase for the gold. So we see already a perfect 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 in a wave C, finished in an ending diagonal, where your ending diagonal here is the following: 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. All of them are zigzag. The wave 1 is zigzag. The wave 3 also internally is a zigzag. And of course, the wave 5 is also a zigzag. Now we start to see a drop, kind of like drops toward the downside. But somehow these drops are still like very hesitating to continue the trend toward the downside. I don't know why we see right now another pump toward the upside. On the 5-minute chart here, you can see already an impulse correction, and potentially here finished up as a 3 ways. Otherwise here it is finishing kind of like a 3 ways down, 3 ways up again, and then of course kind of like an ABC expanding flat. But this is horrible, right? This is horrible. I mean, basically we have finished here a 1, 2, 3, 4, and the wave 5 as diagonal, finished in a wave C perfectly in the 1-to-1 fib level, A, B, and a C. So what the gold is waiting for, I don't know, guys. Basically, it should be, the drop was almost like confirmed, and currently we see, of course, another hesitation, and not invalidated yet, but the invalidation, of course, of any drop, I would say, by taking this high here probably, or even, let's just taking the high again. So if we take the high again after this drop, well, this is not something good, honestly, because it has a correction here, deep correction, and it is again confirmation for higher there if we take the high, and that means, very likely that it has transformed this to a wave 1, 2, and then continuation for higher. Something is unfolding probably as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a longer wave 5, extended wave C, or probably is it turning into an impulse here, a big 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And that is, of course, a little bit the question mark, guys. What's going on in the gold, of course, is I cannot really say that I understand it so much, because, of course, at the end, in the macro level, you still need to move for lower. Okay, so the trend right now is in a correction. And of course, I understand that the correction normally are very complex, but the price here was very clear. Here was very clear impulse. After we finish this correction, we're not getting yet a clear trend or clear confirmation that we're gonna move toward the downside. So we gotta be careful. Again, confirmation for higher in case we come back and we take the high. That means, of course, we might move really higher. Okay, so it might be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extension here for a wave 5. So we gotta be careful with it. Very rare that this scenario happens, but yeah, it can be, of course, very likely as well. For the silver as well, I mean, it's a very clear finished impulse, right? On the intraday here, or on the micro level 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So we have a almost very clear wave C, very clear wave 2. And of course, we took the high, right? Now, understandable that an ABC expanding flat might want to reach this. However, as a structure, this is done. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Your wave 5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So why we still get on the 15-minute chart 3 waves down, and then we see, of course, continuation again toward the upside. Not a good signal, guys. It might be, again, be careful, an extension here as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So we gotta be careful, of course. It might still move toward the upside. 1.618 for the silver might still be there, $54. All right. Now, why this is happening? Well, I believe fundamentally the things are still very intense right now regarding the peace agreements and so on. So in case, of course, there is no peace agreement, well, the gold might react, okay? Might react toward the upside if there are a lot of conflicts and complications right now. It might react, of course, fundamentally again, like creating extension. And this is, of course, the psychological part behind it. Why the wave are getting extension? Why this is going to transform to 1, 2, and then still looking for higher? So, yeah, these are the possibilities right now as well for the silver, knowing that it is very clear macro level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Direction is downward. 3 ways invalidation. Very great. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Direction is downward. So I would say also here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and ABC, I would say. And then we continue the drop since it is almost finished, unless of course it's still extending for higher. So we gotta be careful with it. Another possibility, if the things are going to really extend for higher and going above the 1.618 here, well, okay, it's a double 1, 2, wave 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, then, and we start our diagonal here, which is a zigzag, wave 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4, and a 5 to hit the target. Yeah, so that will be very tricky because you got here kind of like a very clear impulse. Well, definitely it's gonna take the W, X, and a Y here, in case, of course, the diagonal happens. But yeah, we gotta be careful with this. Of course, we need more signals for that, but it's a very tricky one. Okay, in case that happen as diagonal, because the timing also still require a little bit more time for this correction in a wave 4. All right, let's move for the Palladium finally for the intraday. For the Palladium, as you know, we are also estimating this potential diagonal toward the upside here after a wave 1, 2, and then of course diagonal might be unfolding wave 5. I'm still looking for this price here between the $1,750 and above it. Currently on the lower time frame for the 1 hour chart here from our blue box, I start to see, of course, kind of like a leading diagonal as well, can be very clearly here given from there. Here we go. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Potentially, of course, can be the ABC here, A, B, and a C. And you're looking for at least, I would say, the 1-to-1 fib level. In case that this is your wave C for 1,453. In case we overshoot it, then okay, we move into a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 there in case, of course, of an impulse unfolding. Yep, so to be watched. I think the Palladium might still, of course, having higher prices here. I see a lot of strengths, of course, since we have hit our uncommon target 0.618 here within the blue box as an ABC, and then of course we start to see a signal of strength right now. If this is gonna sustain and move for higher, well, yeah, the next target then is gonna be the 1,751 as a wave 5 in diagonal. Expect, of course, a potential impulse there to unfold since we have impulses previously, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Yep, so that was it for the metals, the gold, the silver, and Palladium. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.